1.6 litre, 272 horsepower at 6,000 RPM, 330 nanometers of torque at 1,900 RPM. This is one hell of a car. You've really got to hand it to Peugeot. Squeezing 272 horsepower out of a 1.6 litre 4-cylinder power plant is something very special indeed, especially when all that power doesn't compromise the superb family car credentials that the 308 also delivers. But let's not get ahead of ourselves here. After all, perhaps the most important words in this car are GTI by Peugeot Sport, and for those in the know, those few words most definitely mean something. And for those that don't know, Peugeot Sport was founded in 1981 by Jean Todt and have competed in many of motorsport's most demanded events, races and championships varying from rallying to Formula 1. The thing is, all of this race-winning expertise then finds its way down to the relevant road car in Peugeot's range, the 208 and 308 GTI being excellent examples. But then, what we've got to ask ourselves is this specialist input enough to make the 308 GTI special? And is the 2018 308 worthy of that iconic GTI badge? Let's hope so. From the outside, there's a certain high-class appeal to this Peugeot, unadorned as it is with unnecessary and gorgeous styling bells and whistles. What you do get with the 308 GTI is something else, something different and refreshing, and it's down to exactly that, the lack of extravagant spoilers and side skirts that creates such a desirable profile. It's class over excess. But that's not to say that the Peugeot is standard looking, as it is certainly not. Aside from those aluminium GTI door sill finishes that you see straight away, the front wing and tailgate badges, there's the large twin exhaust, black rear diffuser, a ride height lowered by 11mm, black radiator grille, sports front bumper skirts and a red lower bumper finisher. Looking at the GTI as a whole, it's certainly a very impressive piece of hot hatch architecture, and one which, in Motor Martin's opinion, will still look good many years down the line. Inside the car, you're immediately greeted by deep and comfortable GTI bucket seats with Peugeot Sport branding and, rather surprisingly, a massage function for both. Who says going fast and being comfortable can't go together? Lovely. Then there's the technology, which includes a driver sports pack that when activated increases the responsiveness of the engine and gearbox, turns the dials in front of you from white to red, which will of course make you go faster, displays vehicle dynamic parameters, acceleration, power delivery, turbo, and amplifies the engine sound inside the cabin itself, which will of course make you go faster. The thing is, the 308 GTI is a fast and fun hatchback every time you get in it, but once that dynamic mode is activated, you really had better hold on tight. The difference between normal and dynamic is indeed dynamic. Actually, make that dynamic times 2, as the additional sound of the engine on song being piped into the cabin is addictive enough. But combine that with the sharpened response you get from the slightest touch on the accelerator and you're in for a whole heap of fun. Peugeot's much discussed compact steering wheel, designed to give you a clearer view of the iCockpit dials and instruments whilst delivering heightened responses and improved agility in the corners, really does come into its own when you start to press on, as it allows you to feel exactly what is going on with the front end of the car, and that's what you really need and want in a hot hatch as potent as this. So where do you go with such a fantastic car as the 308 GTI by Peugeot Sport? There's only one place for it: Oliver's Mount, towering above the beautiful seaside resort of Scarborough. Let's have a look at it. Now, Oliver's Mount spends some of its time as one of the few road racing circuits left on the mainland, and it really is the perfect place to allow the Peugeot the time and space needed to fully test out the handling available. Granted, when not used for racing purposes, the speed limits remain quite rightly in place, but what you're left with is a sinuous 2.43 mile ribbon of tarmac that, due to its tight and twisting nature, is not somewhere that top speed is relevant. With maximum torque of 330 nanometers available at just 1900 RPM, this incredible engine in the Peugeot gives you the tools needed that allow you to concentrate fully on placing it exactly where you want it to go. With corners arriving thick and fast on this fantastic circuit, the Peugeot's 380mm ventilated front discs, mounted on aluminium hubs and squeezed by vibrant red fixed calipers, offer braking power aplenty, with feel for those moments when retardation is the name of the game, whilst the finely balanced suspension system, which Peugeot say lets you drive the car dynamically and with complete confidence, make sure that you stay exactly on the road where you want to be. Overall, Peugeot have taken the already brilliant 308 GTI as was, and along with the rest of the range, made it even better. Everything about this car shows the duality that a hot hatch should offer: everyday driving, shopping, school run, commuting, and then at the press of a button you have a proper sports car, and it's still got a decent sized boot. Fantastic.